So Maine is turning into a battleground on a lot of different fronts, and I'm going to point out some absurdities with the lockdowns, the level of lockdowns in Maine, and the way that the mainstream media just kind of like portrays things. So this is from the Daily Mail. If you read this title right here in front of you, Maine is the first northeastern state to lift coronavirus restrictions. Okay, so if you read that, and we're going to leave out the Michigan part because that's irrelevant, but if you read that, then in your head you would think, oh, okay, right on. Maine is lifting restrictions. Let's move on. And quite literally in the article, those first two bulletin points are the totality of what the article mentions about Maine, that they're going to include drive-in theaters, barbershops, hair salons, dog groomers, and car dealerships in the reopening. Restrictions are no gatherings of 10 people or more, and if you leave the state or you come in from out of state, you have to be quarantined for 14 days. So right there, you'd be like, oh, okay, no big deal. But what they don't tell you is that good old Janet Mills has said that it's an indefinite lockdown. That's what she has said. It's indefinite. She hasn't said they are reopening anything. She said it's an indefinite lockdown. And it's gotten to the point now where restaurants are starting to battle law enforcement.
Because the number of COVID-19 cases...
So they're battling, say hello, So they're battling law enforcement, businesses versus law enforcement. Around Guilford and Ocosok, businesses are starting to open up a little bit in defiance of good old Janet Mills' orders. The police departments around Bethel are picking up and looking for businesses that are getting ready to follow suit because they want to stomp it and make an example of it. I mean, this is just crazy. So why all these crazy restrictions? What is it? I mean, what are we facing? Let's see here. Population of Maine. 1,344,000,000. Okay, so what would be a reasonable amount of inflictions, a reasonable amount of deaths that would make all these lockdowns worthwhile? Me, I'm going to say, I'm going to lowball it because I like human life, and I think human life is very valuable. So I'm going to say in a population of 1.344 million, if we had 10,000 deaths per million, that would, I would say, let's lock it down. So at 10,000 deaths per million, I would say if they had 10,000, 11,005, 12,400. If they had 12,400 deaths, then I say yes, absolutely, let's lock it down. That is drastic. Let's lock it down. Let's nip this thing in the bud. So, what is the numbers? Maine here is in blue. Total number of cases, 1,152. So, total number of cases, 1,152. That's all the cases. Total number of deaths, 56. Less than 100. And I'm sorry to everybody affected by those 100. Less than 100 deaths. But we're going to lock down 1.344 million people and tank the economy for 56 deaths. Okay, what do we have to compare it to? Well, we have the 2019 numbers of deaths. In 2019, there was a bit of an uptick from 2018. We don't have 2020s because, we're in 2020. Go figure. According to the Department of Public Safety spokesperson Stephen McCausland, there were 155 motor vehicle deaths in 2019. There were 140 in 2018. So then, doesn't that mean that you have to lock down your country because of vehicle deaths until you get vehicle deaths under 50 a year? I mean, that we don't lock down and we don't tank the economy for these 155 motor vehicle deaths. And by the drastic things of locking people down and closing businesses, to the point where you have businesses fighting law enforcement and law enforcement searching around for businesses to make examples of so that way other businesses don't think of reopening. And then you got the mainstream media making it seem like everything's hunky freaking dory, like, Maine's opening up. They're going to lift coronavirus restrictions. No. She did this the opposite. She said it would be indefinite. Janet Mills said it would be an indefinite until she decides. So what do we got going on here? We locked down for just 56 deaths, 1.344 million people, tank unknown number of businesses that aren't going to recover, unknown people that aren't going to be able to get jobs back, unknown poverty-related deaths as of yet, we won't know yet, unknown drain on public resources, even though we don't do this for something that has over twice as many deaths. Over twice as many people died due to auto accidents last year in Maine than to COVID-19, and nothing happened. In fact, it wasn't such news. I bet you if you didn't live in Maine, you probably didn't know, and even if you did live in Maine, you probably didn't know those statistics. I'm just saying, I'm pointing out the obvious. I'm handing the reins over to you, and now it is up to you to do your own research. I love you guys. You guys stay informed, and I will see you on the next one.